golden era of Heart to Hearties, and we are excited to be back here with you today, bringing your questions directly to the cast and crew. I'm Marg from San Diego.
Hi, Hearties. I'm Emily from Illinois.
And I'm Chelsea from Puerto Rico.
And we're here with the actor who wears many hats, including coffee hats. He is the world traveler, the former saloon owner, thoughtful suitor, sometimes cowboy, and the governor himself, Chris McNally.
Yay.
I was going to say I'm Chris Mc Nally from Hope Valley.
Yes, indeed. Chris McNally from Hope Valley. And you said Jack and the Bean is a coffee truck in Vancouver?
It is. It's a Vancouver coffee truck, and they're often at the farmers markets that
very nice.
go to. But then they also do visits. If occasionally somebody wants to treat cast and crew, everybody at work with a coffee truck, and so they'll organize that, and then oftentimes it's Jack and the Bean, and they roll up, and they're
amazing.
That's awesome.
The camera department they always wear these Jack and the Bean hats, and I want people like them, so I kind of I just joined their parade.
You got the swag.
Yeah.
You got the cool swag. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little hot right now, but I'm good.
Yeah.
I went up the stairs too fast.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Are you on a higher floor and you have to?
I'm on the 3rd floor right now.
Okay.
It was a quick sprint.
Okay.
But other than that, I think I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
We're good. We're good. We are trying to alert Hearties in every possible way of this disruption to the schedule. Yeah. So
I just heard about it.
Yeah. Are you an American football fan?
I've watched the football before.
Okay, well,
yeah, I feel like I would answer the same way. I'm like, yeah,
I've watched
football.
I played football very terribly for one season in my youth.
All right, well, that's enough. Yeah, we just thought maybe when you were in Kansas City with Hallmark, you might have caught on to the Chiefs fever.
Well, that was very cool to be there and see how integrated the Chiefs is just into day-to-day life there, because as soon as I hadn't been to Kansas City before, and as soon as we got off the plane and we're walking through the airport, there was just Chiefs merchandise everywhere. And that was neat because if I grew up in Vancouver and the Canucks are a big part of the city, but it's not to that extent. You don't get out of the airport and see Canucks everywhere. At least if you do, I walk right by it and haven't noticed. No, that's not there. That's not a part of it. So
no, I mean, I've been to that airport and I don't remember it being everywhere. No. Yeah.
It would be nice if we had something that brought that city or Vancouver together the way that the Chiefs seems to.
Yeah. And we heard you did get some good barbecue while you were there. You went to Jack's Stack.
Yeah. It was, the beans were, I think, the best part. I feel kind of bad saying that because there's so much great food.
Those baked beans are amazing.
Yeah, they were next level. They're the best beans I've ever had.
Wow.
I can't remember who we talked to. Was it Kevin or Pascal who was like, yeah, we had barbecue and we ordered like everything and everybody stopped and Chris just kept eating.
Yeah.
You enjoyed it.
It's become a common thing if I'm at a restaurant or something. Oftentimes the servers, especially one friend of mine, he and I go quite frequently, and every time without fail we get told, that's far too much food. You should probably order half that. And we're like, no, we'll be all right.
We're good.
And then we sometimes end up ordering more. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it goes, but I can put it away.
Well, that's a perfect segue because that is what Americans do on the upcoming weekend is that we overeat and kind of watch football, basically.
Got it. Okay.
Like, that's the perfect mix.
I can do that.
So that's what we're going to be doing on Sunday, but on Saturday at 10 o'clock. So an hour later than our usual time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, episode 6 is going to air. And then we can all be free on Super Bowl Sunday. It's just 1 week only, and then we return to our regular schedule. So
because I think we've always competed with Super Bowl in the past, have we not? When the show
well, that's a good point. It usually does air after Valentine's Day. So because it's always been around my wedding anniversary time.
Yeah,
So
so
I
the
think,
Super Bowl has already passed always.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it has? Okay. All right.
Only in season 1, I think, did we start at the beginning of the year, but we were always on Saturday nights. So we've never had to compete against the on Super Bowl Sunday. So
There you go.
there you go.
Thank you.
That's the history. Yeah. Cool. Emily, take it away.
All right. So as you know, we pull Hearties for their questions. And so we wanted to start off where we left off last season with the arrest of Janette O'Quois. And so Denise Fowler of Chesterfield, Michigan wants to know if Janette's trial will bring any more turmoil to Lucas's life.
I think that there is a lot of turmoil going on, but it could be more beneath the surface. I don't know that you see it necessarily on camera, but yeah, there are a lot of factors coming in and sort of putting some pressure on Lucas, and that's a big one of them. I know that we established it and we touched base on it earlier in the season,
Right.
and I always say this, but I forget what happens after we finish shooting. So um, I don't, I can't say with 100% certainty that it doesn't come back because it could. At this time, though, remembering the initial phase where Lucas has to duck out of the back of the office, and Edwin knew that was going to happen the whole time. He's got the ticket for him in his breast pocket and sends him out the back. Right? Did that happen? Did that make the cut?
Totally
I don't know.
did.
It didn't.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it was something like the trial date got moved up, and so the press attention was there, and
Yeah.
yes, you
And
made a
Lucas
run
says, "I
for
can
it.
handle this," and then finds out he can't.
Yeah.
I love it. But I didn't pick up on the fact that Edwin already had the ticket like ready. He had anticipated it. That's funny. I didn't
Well,
know.
to be honest, I haven't seen the final cut, so I'm
Okay.
not maybe that didn't make it. But when we were there on the day, it was great. I was up against the wall, and he opens his jacket and goes and has the ticket in there. May I suggest the back door? I think he says something like that.
Yes.
Def-
Yeah.
He definitely said that. Yes.
Mhm.
And so we've heard reference made to another election coming up for Lucas, but we're not quite clear on the time frame. So how long was Lucas elected for, and when is this impending election?
Very good questions. Very good questions. I like to think that we live in a sort of snow globe world in one cultivar. And so I feel like the next election is going to happen at the most opportune time for it to happen in the story.
As Hope Valley does.
Yeah,
Not a
I have
rigid
not.
schedule.
Yeah. Whenever it makes sense. I think that's when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I haven't been told of any timeline. In my head, there's a loose timeline, but I can do all I want in my head. Things change. So we'll see. I look forward to being pleasantly surprised.
Yes. Um, so this season, especially in these past couple episodes, we have seen that tension between Lee and Lucas, and we loved having Hickam and Joseph leave you and Lee stranded in the woods. Did you feel that a little meddling was merited after this prolonged silent treatment these two had?
Yes, I do, because they were not grown up enough to handle it themselves, and so somebody had to step in and take action. I think it's funny that Lucas was going, Lucas and Hickam were going fishing in such a well-dressed manner.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but no, I think it's great, and I chuckled when I read that script for the first time that had Lucas and Lee facing opposite Bill, and it's cutting in between the two conversations, and Bill's trying to basically have the same through line, and he's getting stonewalled by Lucas and Lee. Yeah, it was nice. It was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
But
that
definitely
was
meddling was
that was
necessary.
was that an intercut? That was super cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin and I had to make sure that we were sitting in the exact same spot, and try and get because they wanted to lock up the frame and just have
Right,
it
exactly.
forth, and yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it
was
looked
that
great.
Elise was the director of that one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
very cool.
Yes, it was. I mean, yes, she was the director of it.
Yeah.
And we've heard both you and Kevin talk about how fun it was for you guys to play out this argument. So just between us, who was really in the wrong here?
Well, I think we all can agree that Lee was 100% in the wrong. I do think genuinely Lee was being very stubborn and could not or would not allow himself to see that Lucas was being bent by things that, he had no control over. Um, so it's like, do you want the park to happen at all or no? Because if we're anyway, I guess I'm so frustrated about it.
Yes.
Really. And Rosemary too, behind the scenes,
It's so reminiscent of the argument that May and Hickam had about the window,
Right.
who
Yeah,
left the
you
window
left it
open.
open. No, you left it open. It's like, who left it open? We
Clearly, you two have learned the profound lessons that May and Hickam did as well.
Mhm.
More important to be, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? But there you go. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good one. I struggle with that one personally.
We all do. We all do. Yeah.
So we have a question from Karen from Ohio, and she wonders like if you did any research or if you have watched the world of politics like more closely, given that you're playing the part of a newly elected governor.
Well, I was curious about the fact that I'm a governor in Canada. So I don't know that required any research, but I was like, that's an interesting point. Here we are again in the snow globe of Hope Valley.
Right.
Um, and I wouldn't say that I paid more attention to politics now that I've been playing a governor. I'm always kind of paying attention to politics because everything going on in the States is like, blasted throughout the globe, and is quite fascinating. So I have been following that and Canadian politics, but I don't think that playing Governor Bouchard piqued my interest, if that makes sense. And
Mhm.
I get teased that I should be the mayor. I should run for mayor because I guess I'm really negative and I've always got things to say out loud that I think I'm just thinking out loud, I guess. But just comments about how there should be a left-hand turn signal here. This isn't working, not working. That's an issue. And
Well,
then
that sounds like you're a problem solver to me.
you know what?
If you look at it that way,
I
yes.
might gently bring that up next time. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank
Yeah,
you for that little ammunition.
no problem. As long as you're not just dwelling on the negativity, as long as there's an answer, that you've brought to
Yeah, I'm big on problem solving is important and being now
right.
that word escaped me. Proactive.
Yeah, proactive is exactly right. You're good. Yeah.
Mhm. So Pam Wallace Hire, also of Ohio, she asked, like, do you think Lucas is innately a people pleaser? And if so, will he be able to make a difference in politics?
Hmm. I don't think I would classify Lucas as a people pleaser. I think that Lucas is very goal oriented and he gets his mind set on something and he does everything he can to achieve that, which I think is very helpful in politics. But when he is people pleasing per se, it's still I think the main objective is achieving the goal. And if some people need to be pleased here and there, that's going to happen. But yeah, he's always been goal like he wanted to, he did the library, he wanted to get Elizabeth's book pub.
Totally.
He trying to think of what else he set his mind to. Well, being governor and trying to save that whole water scenario. Um, so yeah, a very driven, focused, goal oriented person. Maybe
Yeah.
not always people pleasing. Certainly wasn't pleasing Rosemary.
If the end result is people pleasing, it's one thing, but he
Yeah.
doesn't go into it for people pleasing, you're saying.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel like the way, well, for my opinion, like the way that you've played it, it's always like very genuine in
Mhm.
the fact that you see Lucas's like care for the people and actually genuinely wanting to help. So
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm glad that came through.
yeah.
Totally.
Because
Yeah.
that's the idea behind the economics behind the resort and the reason that he wanted to
Right.
implement it and then the park and yeah, it's all done for yes goals, but as you mentioned, for the
Mhm.
greater good. Yeah,
Yeah.
for positive reason.
We are loving the train scenes so much this season.
Oh
And
yeah.
Yeah, and we have talked to a couple of the directors about that set, and it has been so cool to like have an insight into what went into it. So tell us what filming there was like for the actors.
The train scenes were great. Did anybody that you talked to, did they mention how there's people outside pushing on the?
Yeah, like pushing it. Yeah.
Which is why we're asking. Yes.
So it was yeah, we was built inside the saloon. So we're sitting inside of a fake train that's parked in the saloon with friends of ours pushing the sides and rocking it, and we're looking out the window at this lovely view, which is just a blue screen. But then from our angles you can see I guess the camera's angle, it was the green screen or blue or whatever they were using at the time. But from us we can see past that and down at the bar or the front door of the saloon. So um I wish it was as romantic as it looked from the outside, but it felt quite silly if I'm being honest.
A little distracting, I would imagine.
Yeah, but it was. I always think it's great when when new sets are brought in, and we get to play with something new. So that side of it was it was fun. I think it was also quite hot when we were filming that. That might have been August. Which added to it. I don't do well in the heat. I kind of shut down. Excuse me. But
And I bet because it's like so it's a small space and like the camera's there and I assume like lighting and just everything and yeah. So I bet it was a challenge.
yeah, and a lot of those buildings that make up the town are not insulated. So they get very cold in the winter, but they get really, really hot in the summertime. The heat just goes right through, and it just ends up like a kind of like a wooden greenhouse, if you will. And then it's filled with bodies, anywhere.
Right.
Well, there can be a lot if we're in the saloon, it could be, 40, 50. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but a lot, a great many people, enough to make it sweltering in there. But I had something else to say. What was it about the train?
Well, it was so fascinating to hear they brought in all the directors with scenes on the train.
Oh, that's what it was actually. It was that I think there was a great level of stress that the train wasn't going to be ready in time.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Paint was
Right
not
down
even
to the wire.
dry.
And what's that?
The paint was not dry.
Yeah, because I went in to check on it. If my memory's right, it was a little bit before, I feel like it was the same week we were supposed to be shooting there or something like that. I could be wrong with my timeline, but it was close enough that I went in wanting to check the train out, and there was no train. It's like, where is it? We need it soon. And I could sense that people were stressed out. So take a step back and let them do their job and get it done. And they did it. Pulled it off.
It looked great.
Yeah.
One of the promo photos, I think it's of Bill and Georgie, had like equipment in it and like paint that was still missing on a portion of it. And one of these Hearties was panicking, like, let them know that scene is not ready. And it's like, no, those are advanced photos. By the time it gets to screen, it'll be okay. But yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So we definitely get a little glimpse of what you see behind the scenes. It's a rush to get all that done.
My favorite is just the people outside, and they're trying not to make eye contact with you, right? So you're over here, and they're just like.
Think you could physically see them? No.
If I looked, because the window, there's the booth.
Oh, that's funny.
The booth with the window in the middle, and so we're looking this way, and on the other side of the wall are people pushing the train. So if you're looking that way, you can,
That's great.
Now I am gonna give a shout out to Edwin. So
oh, Edwin.
Yes, talk to us about him. Like, what does Lucas see in him? Because, well, Hearties, as we've like sometimes, the Hearties comment like, "Oh, we love to hate Edwin because Eric Gow plays him so well." So
Eric's fantastic. I love Eric, and I really like working with him. I think he's a really good actor. So I'm just thinking about Eric now and how much I like him. I forgot your question.
yeah. So what does Lucas see in him?
Oh, okay. Well, I
That
think Lucas is able to recognize that Edwin is a bit of a shark, if you will, or a bit of a like he has, and I think he says it once at one point to Lee. He says, "I'd rather have him on my side than against him." So it's that kind of a mentality where, is Edwin Lucas's favorite person on Earth? Certainly not, but if he takes he respects him and his knowledge and feels that there is value there to be had. Um, and I think coming from the previous season where eventually Edwin left when things got rough, um, and Lucas reflecting on that or on the time they spent together sees that Edwin was too preoccupied with the notion of or the concept of getting reelected and less focused on the people and doing well for the greater good. So I think going back into it this time, he's able to kind of he wants to calibrate that and balance it, and yeah, cherry pick what Edwin can offer while still maintaining um, Lucas's course of action. Of course, with it, I don't know if it ends up that way, but I think that's the initial thought.
Yeah, what happened? So Hearties are really curious about why Henry didn't end up going with you this season.
Well, Henry is very fond of those hazelnuts, and
yes.
he has developed a passion for them. Um, I think I don't know, to be honest. I agree. Sure, I would think the same thing. But Martin's character is on this sort of giant arc journey, and he's in a really interesting place now where he's looking for peace and happiness in the small things, which I think is really beautiful and such a journey from where he started at the beginning of one
Yeah.
part. So that story is happening, and that I feel, to me anyway, influences his decision to stay, and and then that allows Edwin, who, as you have said, everyone loves to hate because he's such a great character, that allows Edwin some time to grace your screens.
Do you love him,
In that
Jesse?
particular
Does he make
capacity.
you laugh?
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hate him at all, but
Yeah.
it's just he he does so well in like making you laugh, but also like annoying you a little bit. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
So yeah, I think it's
there are
best.
so
I
many
was
great. Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go. You go. I cut you
I
off.
was defending Edwin because my mom was in politics, and what Lee considered being sidelined is actually like community organizing. Like Edwin set up all of these community meetings for Lee to attend to, because that's how you build consensus when you're trying to bring something as big as a national park. And so it felt like Lee got there to do the work, but that maybe he didn't realize everything that was involved. And I can appreciate that he wanted to be, that he doesn't like Edwin, and but that actually is part of the work. So,
Mm-hmm. I
Edwin,
wish you could have been an advisor to Lee.
yeah, I said it on social media. I'm not sure if Lee got the
Uh,
message, but there you
I
go.
guarantee you he did not. I don't
Yep.
think Kevin knows how to work Instagram or anything.
No, well, that's true. That is
He
probably true. Yeah,
have a running
even
joke
even in
where
modern day,
yeah.
Kevin may not have caught up with social media.
I was just gonna say one more thing about Eric, and that he's so funny on the day when we're working. He's got all these really, really creative, genius little. Well, they range in side, but ideas and things that he brings to the table, and not all of them end up in the final cut because there's just not enough time, and we have to move the story along. But it's such a pleasure to work with him because I get to see all the little things that he does. And I don't know if they made there was the Easter egg hunt. He really cracked me up. He had a little speech. Edwin was giving a speech, and Eric had decided to write the speech out on cue cards. And I don't remember the exact details of it, but he was a sentence that would normally flow, that you would not need to read a cue card to get to to part two of the sentence, but part two was on the second card. And so he's reading it, and it's something and he just says, today, I'm making this up, but today the Easter egg hunt Will and
He totally did.
I don't know if that made it or not, but I just that one stuck.
I
He said
really
all these
think
little
It did.
things.
Yeah, it
Yes,
did.
I
It
love that part.
did.
Oh, okay, great. I'm glad.
That
Yeah,
was hilarious.
it was hysterical. I remember that scene very much.
He's a good
Yeah,
guy.
so that makes a great scene partner for you and for the show, obviously. If he's bringing all that creativity, that's amazing.
Yeah, he's
Well,
great.
we do have Edwin to thank for introducing Edie to the governor.
Mhm.
We spoke with Miranda last Friday.
Oh, great.
Here's the
back.
truth. We love her.
Oh, great. Okay. I wasn't
Love
sure
her.
your sigh. I was like, oh my goodness.
No, I almost used the word smitten. We are smitten with Miranda,
Yeah,
and
she's really great.
and we need her to stick around Hope Valley.
Yes.
So we're just wondering
She
if
needs
we
to.
got
Yeah.
another season, whether that could be arranged.
Whether that can be arranged?
Could that be arranged?
I think I'm the wrong person to be talking to about that.
Oh, come on. Well,
However,
yeah.
I agree. You know, if it was up to me, I'd say yes. No, I have listen, at the end of the day, I don't write the stories, so I can't, say with 100% certainty that even I will be back. I don't know. Who knows what happens? I
Come
hope I am.
on.
No,
Come on.
but this business is just so funny. Things change so fast and for reasons out of your control, and so it's anyway. That's part of the stress of the business, but that's another conversation.
It is.
I don't see why we would not be graced with Edie's presence again in the future.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I sit.
Okay.
I would be very surprised if we didn't see her back.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to us about the chemistry read because Miranda said that there were several potential Edies brought in. Did Miranda stick out to you in her?
There was more than several. There was a lot. No, I mean, listen, it was an afternoon full. I don't remember exactly how long, but I
Okay.
was exhausted by the end. I recall that part. And everybody did a really great job. Everyone brought their own vibe and energy to it, and I had a lot of fun. It went by quickly, even though at the end I realized I was exhausted in something like 4 hours
Yeah.
by of just reads. But yeah, everybody was very individual in their reads, and I do remember Miranda's sticking out at me. I mean, it was a tough. You can't go wrong because everybody came in and did a really strong performance. But there was something about Miranda that I remembered, and yeah, there was a playfulness there that I appreciated, an unspoken playfulness that was just in the eyes, and it was interesting to me and grabbed me, and I felt like her and I had good chemistry in the brief time um, that we spent in that room because it happens, it's so fast, that people come in, they say hi, introduce everybody, okay, we start notes, next do it again, next scene, notes, okay, thank you so much, and or whatever, and then it's gone and on to the next person.
It must be interesting to be on that side of it, having done auditions over the years yourself. Have you done
Yeah,
that before, had to do a chemistry read? I
I've been
mean,
on the other side
where
of the
you're
chemistry.
auditioning people.
I did. No, it was on the other side when I did the last one with Aaron.
Yeah.
But I mean, you already kind of know what that side is, so it wasn't a surprise to be on that side. But um, it's always a reminder that you can, in this job, you go in and you do, you do your homework, you come prepared, and you do the best that you are able to in that time. And as long as you feel good with the work you've done, then that's a win at the end of the day, because there's so many things that are out of your control.
And it's obviously subjective, because if you said, that there were a lot of really great performances, but
yeah, everybody was great.
yeah.
But then,
Mike
and not saying that
was
this happened
there
in this case, but sort of arbitrary examples of it is like, well, we already have too many people with blue eyes, or like, well, this person is too tall for that person, because when we get them side by side, the height difference is too much. We need something like, there's so many things that are out of your control that do end up influencing decisions.
Got it.
So yeah, I don't know. Did that answer your question? Reminder of that,
Yeah.
but it was fun. It was. I enjoy being on that side and getting to see everybody come in and trying to help put people at ease in whatever way you can, because it's
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's
nerve-wracking.
the main
Everybody
thing, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
everybody cares about it so much, right? That's why
Right.
they're there, and that's
Yeah.
also why you get nervous, is because it's important to you. So just
Mhm.
trying to help set the calm.
Vanessa Hill of Texas says that she thinks that Edie challenges Lucas. Would that be appealing to Lucas at this stage in his life, or always?
I think always is the answer. Yeah, Lucas strikes me as somebody who is inspired by a challenge. I think that I think he needs it, and because he certainly will dish it out.
Yeah,
I think it's important he gets it back too, and that creates some excitement and interest for him.
totally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so fun seeing these two very cerebral characters go riding together and end up on a calf wrangling adventure.
Yes.
So what was your reaction when you read those ranch scenes?
Okay, well, my first reaction was shock and worry, because it was originally scripted that catching the calf, all that happened in a ginormous mud pit, and they're slipping around in the mud, they're falling in the mud, the ring gets lost in the mud, and I was like, I don't want to be in the mud all day.
Yes.
Cold and wet by the time we start filming that, and it's the weather's so selfishly, from my own point of view, I was going, oh no, this is going to be, I mean, at times we have to sorry, I'm distracted with the noise over there, maybe there's a ghost. The We have to go through physical things at times that are uncomfortable, and that's just part of the job, and that's what you've signed up for. But um I didn't feel like it needed to happen in the mud. I think that's maybe it was my initial reaction. So then when a later draft came and all of a sudden the mud was gone, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be so much fun. I think there was maybe a number of departments that said, this is not
No,
where we're
the
going to
mud.
get a mud pit. How are we going to build a mud pit? How many changes of clothes do you need for a mud pit? Every single take. There's a lot that went into it. I think it's a cool idea, but I'm glad that it disappeared.
I think the mud would have messed with the effect of the hair.
It would have weighed it down for sure,
Yeah,
but maybe it would have been
yeah.
great for our skin. I don't know.
Right, right.
Yeah. So on the Facebook Live that we all just got to watch, you all were laughing about your tousled hair.
Right.
And Nancy of Bradenton, Florida asks, how hard was it to get that perfect look while wrangling a calf?
That's natural look right there. That's what it is.
That's
No,
the
there.
result of sweat and running around, huh?
I did try and catch that calf. So we have a really great hair team, and they did, everything they could, I think, to make sure that it didn't get too crazy, that the hair didn't get too wild. And they are always there resetting and crunching and pushing to try and, okay, will it hold? But then as soon as you start rolling and you're sprinting around trying to catch a cow, like it's just gonna go where it wants to go. So I think that was a happy accident. My little curls decided to make an appearance, say hello.
Carrie of Columbus, Ohio, and Lori from Massachusetts loved all the behind the scenes photos and videos of you practicing your roping. So how much fun is it that, it's cool. That's your job, like learning to be like a cowboy for a day. Like how was that?
Well, it's one of the more, I don't want to say more interesting. It's something that appeals to me a lot about this job, and it always had, is the idea of learning new skills, or just things that you aren't necessarily in your everyday life that you need to figure out for your job. It's also really stressful because you're playing somebody who has, not in this case, Lucas wasn't supposed to be able to rope, so it was okay that I was a beginner at it, and then I got a lucky shot and ended up roping it. But when there are times where you're supposed to be a professional, and that's, yeah, I find it very stressful, because you have a short crash course on something, and then you're just thinking, I hope I you're,
Yeah.
ideally you're in a place where it's so in your body you don't have to think about it and you can just focus on your work, but oftentimes there's not enough time, and so you're trying to juggle multiple things at once, and that can be difficult. But I have a friend who's in the Taylor Sheridan world, and they went for a 2-week cowboy boot camp where it was like 9 hours a day every day of riding, and he just couldn't feel his legs ever again.
Wow.
Wow.
So that kind of, I mean, this is much different. I had a couple hours of figuring out a rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, cowboy boot camp like that would be a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we heard that you got it on the first try, like whenever you roped the calf. Is that
Did I? I don't remember.
First try. Yes.
Yeah.
If that's what you heard, then yeah, I'll go with that. But I think my ego kind of got in the way because they kept saying, get closer, get closer. I'm like, no, I don't want to get closer. I want to actually rope the calf. What's
Hey.
the point in roping it if it's 3 feet away?
Yeah.
But the calf at one point did go for a run. There were 2 calves. There was I don't know if what the correct terminology is, more trained. There was one who was bottle fed, and that one was quite docile and used to humans. And then there's another one that was a little more on the wild side. And so when we were doing the roping, we had the one who was more familiar with humans, and so I could approach it, and it was used to that. But for the running scenes, we had the one that was a little more cray cray, and at one point
Great,
he
great.
couldn't, it was running and it didn't want to come back, and it was not interested, and it was just doing its own thing. And so one of the wranglers, he I froze and came back. Okay, I'm back. I got to see a real roping happen in
Oh,
action.
you did.
They had to
Oh.
bring the calf in, and so, and that was, I mean, he was sprinting, he was running across the field, and it seemed like it was 40 feet, and it was just boom, got him, and it was really impressive. And I thought, that is, I mean, that's wild. That's some serious skill and timing
Yeah.
I don't have. I just stood there, tossed it.
Hearties find it hard to watch the characters they love go through like hard moments. And being on the actor side of things, so Brittany Pepper of Punta Gorda, Florida asks, has it been difficult for you to have Lucas struggling so much, or has it been exciting being able to walk him through these trials?
The more Lucas struggles, the more fun I get to have. That's how I see it. So
Yeah.
bring on the struggles. Um, yeah, I find it more interesting when you're playing a character who is having just things are piling on top of one another, and what does it mean to be in that place, and how do you navigate through it, and what other complexities in the world are adding to that, and it just adds, everything adds a new color, and those colors are what's fun to play, and feel how they affect you through the character that you're playing, and what that looks like. And so to me, that's just, it's much more interesting and much more fun than if things are going great all the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, great's fun too, but
Yeah. But we've heard other characters, I mean, Kevin's talked a little bit about it, and we've had other characters you know, who haven't had the stories develop as much. And
yeah.
you've certainly been given a lot of meat to, sink your teeth into. So
Yeah, season 11 was a lot of fun for me.
yeah.
I think,
Well, it stretched the show too. It really did.
Yeah.
yeah, I think we got to explore some things we hadn't before. I think for the most, but there are exceptions, but there's a joke that for the most part, um, with the content that we're creating in Hallmark, it's like if you have a range of emotions going from here to here, like we play in here. And once in a while, when Jack when Jack passed, like obviously you're gonna spike that and hit the top.
Right.
Um,
Right.
not often that you get to do it, and so
Yes.
yeah, I really had a great time in season 11 as the bolts tightened more and more on Lucas, and then we got to see that continue kind of come through the. We'll continue, but not to the same extent as season 11, but still dealing with adversity and then a little bit of romance, perhaps. We'll see.
Yay.
A
Love
spark of
it.
intrigue.
A spark of intrigue. We've
Yeah.
heard there might be some dancing. I think that was on the Hallmark Live.
There's a lot of dancing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't look too excited about that.
Well, I'm not the biggest dancer myself, but Austin's no, it's more of everybody in the town is dancing. There's just a lot of dancing.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. So if Lucas, just circling back to that Edie thing, if
Mhm.
Lucas were to pursue Edie, Sylvia Avon of the Netherlands wonders what it would feel like for him at this point. Where is he in his process of healing after Elizabeth?
Hmm. I think that that's a good question because I think part of him has closed that door and moved on. Um, but I think it would be silly to deny the fact that there's so much has happened
Yes.
outside of that for Lucas. Immediately from that train station until present, that there's got to be some unresolved things still percolating for him inside.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because he's been so busy with this new job and journey and recovering from his shooting.
Yes.
But I do, that being said, I feel like enough time has passed that Lucas would be ready for something. Wow, I just keep freezing up. Freezing.
But then you come super fast, so it's
Yeah.
keeping you on your
I'm
toes.
back quick.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really interesting what that's going to be like, and especially with this fact that you both have broken engagements, that Edie has
Yeah.
just shared that she had a
There's some
broken
common
engagement.
ground
So
there,
there's
yeah.
definitely some more to explore there.
Yeah, and it looks like both characters have, have gone through a lot. Yeah, just thinking about Lucas's story, like at the same time, a lot of things were happening. So it's totally like understandable if now in this season there's still some things that are still like he's learning to navigate still. So
Totally. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and she's just lost her uncle and
Mhm.
inherited a ranch. So yeah, it's an
Yeah.
interesting chapter in both of their lives, timing wise.
I think it's also caught Lucas by surprise because for the last 7 years or whatever it is since he joined, you might know the timelines better than I do, but since all I mean is since Lucas stepped foot in Hope
That's
Valley, he had
season
been
6, yes.
attracted to Elizabeth very strongly and very immediately, and there hasn't been anyone else that he's ever entertained since then. And so, um, with the space that they've had now, and Edie coming along, I think really takes him by surprise because it's not wasn't expecting to meet anybody, in that sort of dynamic, in an adversarial dynamic, but also in work. And I don't know, I guess it's sort of like real life though, people just pop into your life in unexpected times.
Right.
Yeah, so I
And
think it's
especially when you're focused on other things, that's when,
right when you're not looking for it
right.
when it
Mhm.
comes through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and they're very much in baby steps, those two characters.
Mhm.
But I do think that there's the potential there, which Lucas would be aware of and intrigued about.
So the episode 6 description says that you're going to be in some kind of debate on the radio with the Hope Valley kids. Is there anything you can tell us about that? That sounds challenging.
Well, uh, I-
Rosemary likes her point counterpoint.
yeah,
So can
yeah.
we expect that that's what it's going to be?
I wish.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I think Lucas just maybe just gets beaten up a bit on that.
Oh
We'll
no,
see.
we can't
I'm
do
trying to
that.
remember exactly what happened in it. Because I have a foggy recollection, and in my recollection, doesn't go so well for Lucas as much as he might try.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Rosemary's
But it's what makes you stronger. You can come back and
okay.
winning
Hey,
kids next time.
All
that's the
right.
mentality.
There'll need to be another radio show after that then. What clever name can we come up for Lucas's, I don't know, Governor
Yeah.
Bouchard's hour? It's something. Um, should
Often
we
comes.
should we get a season 13? Is there a
Mhm.
storyline that you would like for Lucas to pursue?
Well, at this point, I think it would be interesting for Lucas to be forced out of politics for whatever reason, um,
Hmm,
because I just get excited about the new chapters, and
okay.
and tackling new things. And so
Okay.
he's faced the challenges of that position for a couple of years now, um, and it was a position that he never wanted in the first place,
Right.
and then grew to realize I do like helping the people and
Yeah. On some level, it was your calling.
but I'm just curious about what happens next, and how does that transpire. Lucas has sold the saloon. So
Right.
what, yeah, where would he go? What would not necessarily destination wise, but in terms of career path, where might he go? What could appeal to him? Um, would it be something that he chooses, or something that is presented to him? Um, so yeah, I think change, if that makes sense.
Okay.
That's what I would be
Interesting.
curious about. But I mean, I'm happy to do whatever is written.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a challenge for the writers to continue to have to create these storylines where they're having you straddle between Capital City and Hope Valley.
Yeah.
And it certainly was interesting to us that they, so often when they bring in these short-term characters to play love interests, as we've seen like multiple times with Bill Avery, um, they have many reasons to leave, but Edie has property, like she has
Yeah,
a
she's
she has
pretty
a
close.
reason to stay close. So that is fascinating to us. Earlier, you did talk about the fact that anything can happen in show business and whatever. And I would like to reassure Hearties that you would like to stay and that this is a this is a job that you would like to have in the future. And I'm sure that no one wants you to go anywhere. So
Well, I hope not. I
yeah.
hope not.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, of course I do. Of course I want to come back.
This is how rumors
I'm just,
start, Chris.
oh, okay. I'm not trying to start a rumor. I'm not.
Good, good,
I
good, good.
just sometimes I can be a little pessimistic at times about things. Um, but this show has been the little show that could. It's been through a lot. I would love to come back, and I hope to be back, and I
Yeah.
hope we get a
Yeah.
season
Good.
13. I just sometimes try and say you never know, but that's my own stuff. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, but I think that's what it is to be an actor, and that's real,
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
and the gift of this show that it does keep going on and on and on. But that is you're in completely uncharted territory. We talked about all season, like shows don't go on this long, So
Mhm.
It's rare. Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
rare. It's
Hmm.
rare. So to have the opportunity to maybe have Lucas not be in politics anymore and doing something else is like it's such a cool luxury to be
Oh, for
able to
sure.
think about it. Yeah, it's really neat. Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. It's yeah, I'm on
Yeah.
board.
And we've come to the part of the show that we call Heartieship. It
Okay,
is it's akin to the Battleship game. Have you ever played Battleship?
of course.
Okay, all right. So you get three answers. The Hardys have submitted guesses as to what's going to unfold in the rest of the season,
Hmm.
little hints that they've picked up on and run with. And so you can say hit, miss, or classified. But we really prefer if you don't use classified.
Understood.
Okay. as the rest of season 12 unfolds,
Ava the heiress has mysterious connection with Tottie's girl Trudy.
Miss.
oh, that was a big one on the
Okay.
interwebs this week.
Guys, I don't remember what happened in the last season.
I know. It's
So
okay.
don't quote me on that, all
It's
right?
all good. We're making you go out on a limb here.
It's really, I think something's wrong with me. As soon as I finish shooting, it just leaves my brain.
You're a dad of a small child, and there is nothing wrong with you. You know, that is speaking from experience with having had those small children. There is no brain power left for much else.
So miss, but not guaranteed because I got it.
We'll find out.
Parties don't don't bet the farm on it, but it's okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay, next one. Lucas adopts the calf he roped and teaches little Jack to lasso him.
Double hit. Wouldn't that be something? That's a miss.
Amazing. It's the scene they've been wanting. I love it.
I think that would be great.
Let's
I'd
do
do
it.
it.
Let's do it. How about Gustav will enter this popular grilled cheese that he makes in a big foodie competition in Capital City?
We got to I think we need some hits here, folks.
I am with you.
Another miss. I think a great idea. I think that
Okay.
would be fun. I personally really love grilled cheeses, so I mean, I'd be happy for Lucas to go and
grilled cheese are popping up everywhere. It's hilarious.
I had one yesterday.
Lucas and Lee toast their restored friendship with a big foamy head of beer at the Queen of Hearts.
I think that's how Kevin and Chris would reconcile their friendship. But I'm afraid Lee and Lucas that would be there's a lovely hug.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go with the hug.
Yeah.
Well, we saw kind of a reconciliation, but I hope there's a little more than that this
Can
week.
you remind me what you saw?
We saw a hug, didn't we, guys? When they got back from
When they got back from
their forest.
Oh yeah, when they were
Here we
forced to.
go. Tied up in a knot. That's it.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't know. I don't remember.
Okay,
I
then we'll just
remember
look
that
forward to it.
scene. Yeah, I can't call. It's gone.
It's all good.
But there's
Mhm.
no beer. I didn't drink any beer. I know that.
Okay.
Oliver and Allie's wolf mapping will influence the governor's plan for the national park. Yeah.
Make
Yes.
contact. Yes. No. Allie and Oliver's work, what they've done, it does provide some conflict and redirection navigation for Lucas pertaining to his park plans. Yeah.
Very cool. Nathan's fancy lapel pin will disappear.
Yeah, and it's going to show up on Lucas.
There you go. All right.
Just kidding. Lucas already has dozens. You just don't see them in the show because he
Uh,
wears it at home, wherever his home is.
He doesn't need any more lapel pins. No.
That I think that's I don't know that it could go either way. Can I
Hey,
call a friend?
call a friend, phone a friend.
Call Kevin?
Yeah.
Say, what about your pen, man?
What about that lapel pin? Yeah.
Is there anything with your pen? I think it's a miss, but
Okay.
that's another don't bet the farm.
mhm.
And Lucas and Edie will do the Charleston, but in cowboy boots.
Miss. I don't have any cowboy boots
Okay.
last season, and I don't think Edie does. But whether the Charleston is done in other shoes is entirely possible.
Okay.
Love it.
It's like a half.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for playing with us, Chris.
Mhm.
So one last question.
Mhm.
So we know that you're a great mixologist. So is there a cocktail you would recommend parties, to make this weekend for our special Saturday night show night?
Yeah, I was actually just saying to a friend the other day that my bar that I have is all got this lovely antique cabinet that I found. I'm really happy about. But I was excited because it locked because we were expecting a little baby and we're going, okay, we can't have all these bottles all over the place. Found an antique credenza that would fit everything, and it locked. It's got this cool key, and it has not been unlocked in years.
Oh.
So my mixology has just gone down the tubes. So I haven't even thought about it. What could I, what could we make for Saturday? I don't know what's
Yeah. Saturday's episode is going to be this radio show debate. I guess Elizabeth's going to get sick and be drinking cough medicine. So if that gives you any ideas, what is there a cough medicine drink that we should have?
Yeah, you just take some Buckley's and just drain it, put a little maraschino cherry in there, you're good to go. Um, God, well, on that theme, you could do a penicillin, but look at me I'm Googling right now because it's been so long. Oh, actually, I probably have a book. Where's my book?
There's really a drink called penicillin.
Yeah.
Oh,
was like,
wow.
What a
That's
name.
Let me look it up because I can't remember what's in it anymore because it's been too long.
We should just keep going because now you're not freezing at all. My light is going away, but now you have the best reception ever.
Oh, of course I do now. Sorry, don't mind the back of my head.
No problem. We challenged you with this.
I'm looking for my cocktail books. I don't know where they went. It's been years.
I'm looking it up. Penicillin. That's so funny.
Yeah. Anyway, well, maybe this one.
Penicillin drink. Oh,
You find it?
yeah. Smoky, gingery, Scotch sour cocktail that's become a modern classic.
Sounds good.
Created in 2005 by New York bartender Sam Ross. It's made with blended Scotch, honey ginger syrup, lemon juice, and hold on.
There you go. That's what I recommend. That's what the doctor ordered.
That's perfect. I think it's perfect,
But
actually.
be careful, it's a strong one.
Oh boy. It says garnish it with candied ginger, and the base spirit is whiskey. Wow, it is a strong one. Well, that's perfect because it looks like Bill Avery before her, Elizabeth has had too much cough syrup. So
Yes, it's true.
so it seems to have
That was
affected her
funny.
senses.
I've been having this. I had a non-alcoholic mimosa the other day, which actually was really nice. It was a little can. I don't remember the brand, but some friends brought it over, and some friends. Wait, hold on. I think it was Kevin and Kayla.
Oh,
They bring it over?
was it dry January?
No, it's not. It was just dry all the time, just because we don't have I don't know, just with a young
Yeah,
young
exactly.
one.
I know.
It's gotten to the point where we don't want to wake up with a hangover.
No, of
It's
course
hard
not.
to
Yeah.
be present when you're doing that. And
Yeah.
then now, because I haven't had anything in so long, that if I even have a glass of wine, the next day I pay for it. I'm like, well, that's not fair. Where'd my tolerance go?
No,
Supposed to be way
totally.
strong. But no, I think they did bring it over, and yeah, we had some. It was really delicious. It caught me off guard. It
Oh.
was surprisingly good. It was very delicate and light.
Yeah, I think they've come a long way with those non-alcoholic drinks now. They're so much better.
I'll say so. But you know what? The wine is still
Terrible.
Oh my gosh. Well, sometimes we have to use it at work. If we're and yeah, I will take caramel colored water over fake wine any day. Just do a little whiskey. You want whiskey or wine? Whiskey.
Oh, that just brought me back to my high school theater days. We did Unsinkable Molly Brown, and we had the decanter with the caramel colored. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Caramel colored.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you know what else I've heard recently? That Guinness, non-alcoholic non-alcoholic Guinness. They've been using that at work. If you're
Oh,
drinking one of those in
oh,
a story, and they
okay.
taste fantastic, and they taste just like the real thing.
Oh, wow. Cool. Okay.
That would be a
Good
good one to
substitute.
recommend.
All
Yeah.
right. Very nice.
Huh, that's cool. Well,
We
there you have
open
it,
with-
Hearties.
We open with Jack and the Bean. We close with, non-alcoholic Guinness. It's all good. What a good
Yeah.
balance.
Hearties, we will see you on Saturday night. Like, we're looking forward to seeing Chris on our TVs, as well as Melissa Gilbert, who stars in episode 6. So we will be on X with the hashtag Hearties, and right back here to bring you more interviews and conversations next week. So find us on YouTube and all your podcast channels. So see you next time on Heart to Hearties. Thank you, Chris, for being with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me, and thank you for everybody who's been tuning in and watching, and for all the fans of When Calls the Heart out there. It means a lot that that you keep paying attention, because it means that
They
we
flooded us with questions. They really
making
did.
these stories. So it's a pleasure.
Cool.
Awesome. So see you next time on Heart to Hearties.
All right, bye everybody.